Yo, 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 what up, what up? We back at it. Throwing open VLC, get some background music going. This will be that good shit. This is gonna be a straight up 100% code stream where I'll be writing code. It's fantastic. So I'm joined by no one today because I guess nobody wants to delve into this stuff. I'm wanting to go in deep where no one has ever gone before. Do that tough shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I mean. So we'll give it a couple minutes for some more people to get in here, and then we can giggity get started. If you catch my drift. And I've just done something stupid on my computer, and I've just fixed it. So, so we will be updating the Discord bot that I'm running in my my stream server. Make sure to hop into the stream server if you're not in there. Discord. Oh, thank you for the follow, creepy cat. Anyway, I got a Discord for my stream. Make sure you make your way in there. It's a good time. If you like programming, it's certainly a good place to be. If you don't like programming, then I don't know how you found your way over here, unless I don't know, you're just some sort of weirdo. But yeah. So let me make sure I get everything set up for a successful. The Soprano says seems good. Fantastic stuff. Good old seems good. You know, the seems good emote is all right, but I hear that if you subscribe to this very Twitch channel, you will get some of the dankest emotes out there. Emotes that people would have never imagined were possible. Emotes so powerful and so good that that you'd be an idiot not to use them, frankly. So it's been a few minutes. Let's get this bad boy started. As you'll see, I have good old Go code window open, and what this is a program that does some things in Discord. So first what I'll do is I will just exit this window and I will show you how it works. So let me move my Discord window over here. Again, the Nate Stream Server Discord, you can find it through the npmail.com link that it's everywhere. So I have this channel called the Wage Cage, where if someone is in the Hangout channel, my testicles, if people are in the Hangout channel and they wish to not be bothered to work on something important, they can go to the Wage Cage channel. And the problem with that is if they go to the Wage Cage channel, they're in there, but they can't. They can use this channel, but then what if two groups of people want to work on something at the same time? Well, what I have right now is this Go program, where if I run it, it will, after a second, it's doing a lot in the background. It's kind of annoying. It'll create another Wage Cage. And then in Wage Cage, the Wage Cage you're in, it will give you another role called Wage Cage King with the number of you should code in your smoking jacket. Sometimes I do it in the Versace robe. Anyway, it'll give you a role that's correlated with that Wage Cage that allows you to kick people only out of that channel. And then let's say you leave the channel and everybody leaves the Wage Cages, and this program is run once again, which takes way too long. Much faster this time. Curious. It will delete all the unused Wage Cages, make sure there's one sitting there, and that's what it does. So and then it takes away the role from you. If you look at my profile, role's gone. So this works fairly well. The only problem is that it uses the, let's see, that's not what I want. It uses the Discord WebSocket API, and of course the Discord WebSocket API has a problem where, let's do a Control F, WebSocket, the Gateway API, as they call it, It uses this to work in the background, and there's something in here that says you can only where is it? You can only connect to it like 1,000 times a day, which if I want this running at any reasonable amount of time, every 10 seconds, then I'll go way beyond 1,000 times a day. So what I need to do is make this thing run persistently and stay connected to the Discord WebSocket API all the time, so it doesn't have to keep reconnecting, because you can only reconnect 1,000 times a day. And beyond that, the program is not particularly well structured. It's kind of written as a script where you just have the main, and it does everything. So I'm going to try to factor this out a little bit better, make it a persistent program, and then see if I can make it keep working. Also, this application ID, the public key, these are hard-coded in. They don't need to be hard-coded in like that. They should be inside of a database. So what we'll do is we'll probably do a SQLite database. Nope, using the wrong keyboard. So what we'll do is we'll probably do a SQLite, which is found at SQLite.org, I think. Yeah, so we'll use a SQLite database and store these things, and then add some methods for inserting new ones and deleting them, and adding the server to other, adding this bot to other servers. So then we'll be able to, other people will be able to use this other than just me. So let's see, I guess the ad's about to start, so I'll just talk about SQLite. So SQLite is a very nice library that allows you to implement using a flat file, using a single file, a lot of the features that you would like to do in a database, where you can just give it SQL syntax, and then do all sorts of neat stuff. So let's first off just make sure I have SQLite installed, and I do. That's all I needed. I mean, it's about to be really easy to install it, just using Pacman, given that I run Arch Linux BTW. Shout out to Arch Linux. Elwood_Mo says, not like this. Elwood, I hate to say it, but you're wrong. SQLite is actually very cool, and all sorts of cool people use it. People using SQLite. I mean, look at this. Infosys, Fujitsu, Acrylic. I mean, these are heavy hitters. These are like, I mean, anyone would love to work for one of the IFA companies, in either Infosys, Fujitsu, or Acrylic. Apple uses SQLite in many of the native applications. Bosch uses it in multimedia systems install on GM, Nissan, and Suzuki automobiles. So if you drive a GM, Nissan, or Suzuki, you can't talk shit about SQLite. I mean, this is SQLite in the Android and in the Chrome web browser. SQLite is a core component of Windows 10. I mean, so Mr. Elwood_Mo, you are, frankly, being ridiculous. Oh, it's an application file format for Lightroom. I didn't even know that. That's really interesting. I don't know what Acrobat Reader would use SQLite for. No, but it's good if you want to store structured data locally. You don't have to spin up a database. You don't have to worry about managing your connection to the database, anything. It's just a file. And once you have a file, you're good. So first thing to do is going to be to, I don't know. There's so many places to go with this bad boy. I suppose first thing to do is going to be to clean up the main method to have, or not method, the main function to not have so much stuff in it, because it's currently like 300 lines long. So some of the easy stuff. Let's just get rid of the low hanging fruits. All of this stuff is just initializing. Let's see. All of this is going to be part of initializing the WebSocket connection. These parts are just handlers for various events that come in, as are these. And this will lock up the program until we have the proper data we need. Then what it does is gets the guild members, which actually this to do is to done. I believe this works just fine without the wait. So that'll make the program run a little faster. The channel prefix and role prefix, these will be in a server-side server configuration file. It'll be stored in SQLite. And then it runs through all the channels, checks to see if they are voice channels, and then it checks to see if they are of the if they have the proper prefix that indicates that it's a wage cage channel. Then it gets the channel number from the channel name and adds it into a channel data type here, which is defined up here. So this will probably go into its own models directory or something, and we could actually do that pretty easily. So split, comma E. Let's see. Make dir models. Actually, we'll do internal / models. And of course, you need -p since internal doesn't exist. And then we'll do edit internal / models / models.go. So then we can just copy this file down here, package models, and then we will need to import Discord Go, code action, add import, and then we've already deleted that. Oops. So then instead of pointer to wage cage, we'll do pointer to models.wagecage. And then we'll need to code action. Oh, it's not going to work. I think I need to write this, and then maybe the code action will do it. We'll do library imports, followed by internal imports, followed by external imports. So this will be github.com/npmail/wagebot /internal /models. So that is fantastic, and it couldn't import it for some reason. Let's see if LSP restart fixes that. It does not. Well, that's fun. Let's see, case sensitive import collision. So maybe there's something wrong with the Go module file. npmail/wagebot. Oh, I want to get rid of that. I want to call this lowercase wage and lowercase bot. This will be fine. And does it work now? It does. So it will be a models.wagecage. Oh, I need to export that. Let's go back into models.go. Need column delimiters in your import? I don't understand what your question is. What do you mean need column delimiters in your import? Guess not works now. Yeah. Internal /models /models.go. I need to capitalize this to properly export it for use in other packages. And then do that. So now that one's not mad at me. So then models.wagecage, and also need to export the individual fields. Channel. Let's see, is it this? There we go. Why is it mad at users? Target cage. Oh, it's the same thing. So this is a little annoying. You know, sometimes you let's see. So this will be var lowest, which is a models dot wage cage. Oh. Users. Oh man, this is annoying. You see, this is what you get when you try to write everything real quick without worrying. You end up screwing up by adding a bunch of extra nonsense code that doesn't do anything. Not nonsense code, but you end up having to you suffer from being lazy early on by having to do a bunch of work later on. Models.wage cage. This is some of the least interesting stuff. Let's do that. Hit one of those. Change that. Do that one. Only 17 more to go. Is there a code action to this? Nope. 16. 15. 14. 13. Models dot wage cage. And of course, we gotta do this. Ooh, man, I was hoping this stream would be more interesting than this, but it is not. It is not. I'm just capitalizing a whole bunch of stuff. This is the task of refactoring. If I had thought of this earlier, this would not be as painful as it is now. At least the music kind of slaps. Whoops. Oh, Jesus. Am I doing the wrong command? Whatever. There we go. So now it should compile just fine. And then the have the wage cage out of the models. I think now that it's early on, I want to rename this whole project to be called something better than wage cage or wage bot. I think if we call this like focus room, I think this makes a lot more sense. So what I'm going to do is rename this to focus room. And then change it everywhere. Let's see. Yep, so there are. It's a focus room. Then I'll rename wage cage to focus room. I think this will be a little bit more serious than just for use in my focus room administrator. So instead of calling this wage cages, we'll call this space rename. We will call this focus rooms. So that's fantastic. Now, the next thing we'll want to do is probably get rid of these things and put them into a place to store let's see, the application ID and the public key will need to be stored in a settings area. The perms integer will also be stored there, and then the guild ID will be stored elsewhere. So the way we'll be displaying these is we'll have a link that you can go to from a website that's probably also going to be hosted by this machine. Why not? That will send you to a place to install the Discord bot into your server. So we need to set up a configuration file. So let's see. I don't know what the meta is for configuring a Go application. Go configuration file. Let's see what's out there. I've used some of them in a few different ways. Could just do a JSON file. Viper I've used in the past to decent effect. I don't mind it too bad. Yeah, let's just use Viper. So we will go get github.com/spf13/Viper. So we got Viper installing. There we are. So we'll open up main.go. I'm just going to get rid of everything in main and call it main2. We'll make a new function, func main, which will act as the real main function. So then in real main function, we will want to configure Viper. So JSON, TOML, YAML, HCL, env file, and Java properties config files. What's HCL? I feel like I've heard of that. HCL file is a HashiCorp configuration language. I don't know that I care much for that. Is there an example? Oh no, this is, oh wait, that's JSON. I don't really care for it. Let's see what else is here. TOML. TOML is good. TOML file. Tom's obvious minimal language. I kind of like TOML. I've been writing a lot of Rust recently, so TOML seems like kind of a place to go for that. So yeah, we'll do TOML. So let's just make a configuration file. Config.toml. So let's see. We'll probably want to do a few things. First off, it'll be, let's see, have a bot section, app underscore ID equals, and then we will copy this, yank in our word, paste. We will do a public key equals, and paste that in, and then we will do a, actually I don't think the perm's integer. I think the perm's integer, since that's going to be it's going to be necessary for the application to run. I think we will hard code that in. And 8 isn't correct because that gives you admin access to the server. You don't want to have admin access to the server. And guild ID isn't actually going to be all that necessary because that will be stored elsewhere. That'll be stored in the database, since that's going to be, we're going to have multiple guild IDs for every guild that it's added to. In Discord parlance, guild is just a server or a group of people, right? So if you have a like a group chat that you haven't made a whole server for, that's like a different type of guild. Otherwise, a major server, like a real server, is another type of guild. So we'll figure that out later. So let's see. So let's get this main function. Let's close out of this for now. So let's go into the Viper configuration with things documentation, because we need to get this bad boy going. Let's get it started, huh? Let's get it started in here. So first off, we'll need to import Viper, github.com/spf13/Viper. So then our main function, and I hate doing init functions. I like main. So viper.set config name. That'll be, I don't know, let's call it focus config. I don't know what I like more. Focus config. We will do viper dot set config type. That'll be toml. Viper dot add config path. And right now, I'm just gonna look in the local directory for that. This is where I'll be running it from anyway. And then that'll be it. So error colon equals viper dot read in config If error is not equal to nil, we will do a fmt.println unable to read configuration. And then we'll probably want to print out the error. And actually, we'll probably want to make this a log.fatal. Log.fatal. fmt.sprintf, unable to read in configuration. And we'll do a %s, comma, error.error. I know that the error.error thing isn't the hot way to do it, but I don't really care. Oh, you should use fatal F instead of... Okay. Is there a code action for that? There's not a code action for that. Darn. I always forget to do that. Fatal F. And then get rid of that. And there we go. So if it fails to read the config, it will die. And if it doesn't, then it will be fine. So let's do go run main.go. And couldn't do it. Oh, it's called focus config. I was calling it config.toml. So let's do mv. You know what? I don't even care. I'm just going to rename this to config.toml. I think that makes more sense. Go run main.go. Couldn't parse hexadecimal number. Value out of range. It's meant to be a string. Did I... Ah. I am storing it in here as a... Both of these should be strings, even though they are technically numbers. There we go. So it runs perfectly, which means it can read in the config. So let's do viper.get string. The key will be let's see, get string. So we'll do fmt.println viper.get string, and then the first one will be app ID, and then we'll do the same thing. Oops. For public key, public_key. So this is just a sanity test to make sure. It's working, and it isn't working. It didn't get it. That's very curious. Do I not understand? Search value with the key associated as a string. Huh. Weird. So it looks like I'm clearly missing something on how this works. Let's see. Write config files. Right. So you can write config files, read config files, read config from io.reader, set overrides, registering using aliases. Huh. Working with environment variables. Not going to worry about environment variables. So I must have done something wrong. So, flag interfaces, remote key value support. So they have way too much stuff going on in here. Custom formats, marshalling to string, Viper or Vipers. We created many different Vipers for use. Viper is a companion to Cobra. Who's Cobra? Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, for subcommands and stuff, we won't need any of this stuff. That's kind of a hassle. So I want to know why it's not... Is it not reading that file? Did I not save it since the last time I... Yeah. So viper.getString. Huh. Viper.get... Is there like a get raw? Sorry, Viper dot. We'll do write config as And we'll do ./abc.xyz. And this will get back everything we have. So cat abc.xyz. Huh. So it didn't write anything. Oh. Wait a second. I bet I know what it is. If I do config.toml, it's probably in there as bot.appid. I bet that's it. Can read config actually read files or streams? Yes, it should be able to, I think. Let's do go run main.go, and there it is. Okay. So this is just a sanity check just to make sure I did this right. So then if I so I have the stuff reading the config, and then if I just put it inside of main, and then if I do app ID, I don't even think I'm using the app ID in here. This will be useful later. I don't think I'm using the public key either. This will be necessary in. This will be necessary when it's time to make the web server. Thought you may have to pass an input stream or something. Nope. Yeah, Viper is pretty good. You just have to set the config name, type, and the paths you want it to look in, and then it'll just find it. I got some use on this writing the phone on client. Let's see. Oh man, it is tough to find. There we are. I got my first use on this, writing the phone on client. So let's see. Oh, that's annoying. Let's see, where is it? It's gonna be in cmd / oh, I suppose it doesn't matter. Anyway, at some point we read a Viper, and we're using Cobra. At some point we read stuff using Viper. Doesn't matter. So now we got that. Let's do a make dir internal /server. Internal /server.go. So what we'll want to do is make a package server, and then so basically what this does is this is going to be a web server that will be used for management of the application, as well as it's going to be a place for people to configure their settings for the application. And also it'll be a place for people to, it'll be a place that serves a link that people can click on to add the server to their, or to add the bot to their Discord server. So what we're probably going to want to do is have main block on a function in the in server at the end. And then, yeah, it'll make more sense as I'm doing it. So we'll do, we'll probably want to import some basic things, net/HTTP. And then we'll do a func new server. I don't even care for that. Let's just do this as simply as possible. We'll do a function. It will take a pointer to a request as a an argument, and will return, and it will take a let's do r pointer to http.request, and then w http.response writer. So then we'll just make this really simple. So on a GET request, it will return a HTML document that will return an HTML document that has. Actually, we're not going to call this server. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll return an HTML document that just includes a single link that allows you to add in your the Discord bot to your server. So, let's see, in the Discord developer portal, they have some stuff about how to do that. So, authentication, consistency, API, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So that's not what I want. Applications. Add to server. Makes it easy for users to add bots to guilds. There we go. Bot authorization flow. So this is what we want. So we want the client ID, scope, permissions. So we will copy this. And I can do this the hard way, or I can do it the easy way. I'm just going to do this the easy way. So we'll do w.write. Oh, that's strange. There should be a write function on this. Did I do something wrong? Oh, I didn't name the function. Huh. Serve link page. So this is really easy. So it'll just be w.write, and then it'll be a slice of bytes that look like, oops, nope. So it'll just be a HTML document, head with a title, it's in that title. Please click the link to add the focus bot to your server. And then we'll do a body in the body. Oops. And within the body, it'll just contain a single link, a href equals, and then this will be this. So we'll copy this, paste it, except instead of the client ID being that thing, what I'll do is use a format string, which probably isn't the best way to do this in the long term, but it's easy right now. Add to server, exclamation mark, /a, and we will end this bad boy. I did this wrong. Oops. So instead of just the raw byte, we'll do fmt.sprintf. Comma. So this will be whatever the client ID is. Client ID. Need to code action to add import fmt. If this makes sense. Now we're not passing in the client ID. So what we need to do is figure out a way to get client ID into here. So what I can do is instead of returning a function, instead of having this function defined, I can return a function that returns this function. So we'll make a new function called func serve link page func that takes an argument of client ID, which is a string, and then returns a function that takes our HTTP request and returns WHTTP response writer. So then we can get rid of that. And then we'll return func. We'll return func r pointer to http.request w http.response. I wish I could type. And then the function contents will be this. And I think we need one more of these bad boys if I know how to type them. And then that client ID will make its way into this bad boy. And then we will just ignore that request. fmt.fprintf instead of write byte. Oh, I've never used fmt.fprintf. fprintf takes a writer format string. Oh, yeah, that's really useful. So fmt.fprintf w comma and then all of this nonsense and then the client ID, and that should do it. That's a really simple, very basic way to do web server. So then at the bottom of main.go, we'll just do http.handle func. Is that the one I want? Let's add that import. That takes the handler and pattern. Oh shoot, it takes response writer first and then request later. http dot response writer and then r http dot pointer to http dot request, and then go do the same thing over here. Underscore http dot response writer and then r http dot request. That's more like it. Oh, not using the request. We are using that, and it's actually a pointer to an http request. Fantastic. So anyway, we'll handle func on /link to. So anything that goes to /link will be served to this function. So this will be server dot serve link page func called with the client ID. And of course the client ID is not defined, and we need to add it in here. Client ID colon equals that. Oops, got another one of those bad boys. So that fixes that, and then the last thing we need is that server. So we'll make sure this is saved. Code action, not letting it do it. So we'll do github.com/npmail/wagebot/internal/server. And it says I still have one error. Did I name this wrong? Serve. Oh, I know what it is. I'm not exporting this function. Can't use the function unless it's capitalized. Serve link page func. So that's great. Missing comment argument list. Oh. So that will return the function. That will close that out. And there we go. So now when I run this, go run main.go, it should block at the end once it's done running. And if I navigate to, I handle it, but I didn't start the handler. So I'll do http.listen and serve. The address is going to be :8080 And then the handler is going to be nil. And then now, when I run it, go run main.go, it will block at the end, and then I can do http ://localhost :8080, and I got 404 not found. Oh, of course. I need /link. There we go. So when I click this, it should try to add WageBot to my server. So that is fantastic. You love to see it. So I'll hit cancel. Access denied. You may now close this window or tab. So that's all fine and dandy. Got a nice little web server running. So now that we have something going, we will get status. So we need to add in those things. Probably not going to commit config.toml. So yeah. Actually, no, I'll just commit it all. I don't care. Git add all of it. Git commit -m things. Fantastic. Git push origin main. And there we go. So we got a little bit of this this refactoring done. Next thing we want to do is probably get rid of all this random code in the middle of this thing and put it all into its own little area. So we have configuration stuff. So config boilerplate. So we've got the configuration stuff set up. Let's separate these. I think it looks a little bit nicer. We don't actually need the public key. I don't know that we actually ever need it, but we have it in case. The Discord API token. I think I'm going to leave that as an environment variable because you don't want that to have to be defined in a you don't want that to have to be defined in a file, because then you might be apt to like look at that file or do something wrong with that file. So now we're initializing the Discord Go client, doing a bunch of setup with the Discord Go client. And then you setting it up. So this could probably all be one function. I think maybe we'll just ignore this for now. So I'm weighing the options in my head. Do I want to create one super duper mega singleton that just holds everything? Or do I want to do this in a slightly less object-oriented way? And I feel like the mega singleton to hold everything is kind of the way to do it. I guess maybe I should just start getting rid of all the hard-coded stuff in here. So, like the guild ID is used all over the place. Actually, it's only used in 2 places. Oh, I know what it is, because I'm only I'm looking at one guild. So this is where I'm giving guild ID. So what I probably want to do is set up a SQLite database to handle holding all of the information for the various guilds that it's going to be added to. So let's clear out of that. So then we'll probably make a make-dir internal /db. I don't know why I left vim for this. Let's edit internal /db dot /db/db.go. So we can package db, and then let's look up the library for using a SQLite database. SQLite, SQLite, Go. So SQLite 3 package. So we'll want to run go get increase to v2 as an accident. There are no major changes or features. That's funny. github.com/mattin/go SQLite3. Fantastic. So this is a whole bunch of stuff. So let's look and see if we can find a basic example of use. So description, overview, API reference, compilation. Don't need API reference, examples. This is what we want. So let's just do something very simple. They have like a hello world. Custom font, custom driver name. I don't want any custom stuff. I just want basic stuff. Hook. Sure. So we want to import database.sql. Import. Oops. Oh man, I am having a stroke on the keyboard here. Database/SQL. And then we will import github.com/mattin/SQL/go SQLite3. So that's fantastic. It's mad at me a little bit, but nothing an LSP restart won't fix. And it's going to be mad at me for a different reason once that's done. So then we'll do a func. Let's see. So we'll do a type data store struct. So this will store an abstraction to the database. That way, if we really want to, we can put in other types of databases and things and share the same. If we really want to, we can share the same underlying SQL commands. Probably better to write them for each thing, but yeah. So the first thing we'll do is actually do a type data store interface that we will then do. The first one will be so from the data store, we'll want to get server configuration. And that will take in an ID that'll take in the guild ID as a string, and then it will return a models.server and an error. Now you'll notice that oh man, this is mad at me. Notice I haven't put a server in models, so what we'll do is go add one. So we'll do internal/models/models.go. So we'll do a type server struct, and then we'll probably have some fields. But for now, we will not worry about it. So then we will code action to add in the import for the server, or for the models. And then data store will actually be lowercase. Then we'll do a function to get one of these data stores. Should probably capitalize store. So we'll have a type for data store. So that'll include a backing DB, which will be a backing, we'll just call it storage, which will contain a SQL.db. And then we'll do a function new SQLite store. And that will take in an argument of the path. So then it will return a data store. that's fantastic. Return. Is there a code action? Oh yeah, there is. Fill in return values. Oh, return nil. That's not what I want. Ampersand, data, store, and we won't put anything in it for now. And actually, you know what? Instead of that, we'll do a SQLite store. And that still works. And this file will be... No, that'll be fine. So then we'll do... Let's see. SQLite 3 con, SQLite 3 register with hook. I don't like this example. I want to see what... Do they have any like code right in the top? Real easy way to do it. Because I want to be real lazy with this. Well, this is SQLite SQL code. DB comma error colon equals SQL.open SQLite 3 that. So DB comma error colon equals. And since it could error out, we need to return an error. If it happens, data store comma error. There we go. Comma nil. Database comma error colon equals SQL dot open SQLite 3 comma file colon lock dot SQLite cache shared. So what is that for? That's if it's locked. Trying to access dot command throws an error. Reading from database with large amount of Go routines fails on OSX. OSX limits OSY to not have more than 1,000 files open simultaneously to apply to default. That's weird. Let's just look up for a simple example. Make sure I'm not doing anything wrong. SQLite example. Okay. Where is the Go code? This is all. There we go. Database. Okay, so I just put the file name in there. That will work. File path. And then it takes in the file path. If error is not equal to nil, then we will return nil, comma fmt dot error f unable to get new SQLite data store colon %s comma error dot error. So that's fantastic. I guess I don't have FMT installed or imported. This is actually a SQLite store. Code action to fill that bad boy up. And this will be DB. Variable is type pointer to SQL DB. Ah, fair enough. And then it's bitching at me now because I don't have get server configuration in, implemented for SQLite store. So we'll do func with a receiver of type SQLite store, and it'll be called get server configuration. So let's just call this S. I'll make this pointer to SQLite store just for funsies. And it will return, it'll take in a guild ID as a string and return a models.server and an error. So now we need to define what this models.server is going to have. So the server is going to have a couple of things. First of all, it'll have an ID, which is a string. And what else will it have? probably a channel prefix, which is also a string, and then a role prefix, which is also a string. So let's have it return server, comma, nil. Oops. Models dot server, comma, nil. Why is this mad at me? Pointer data store is a pointer to interface, not interface. I don't want a pointer to data store. I want data store. That's more like it. So now that we have this, then we need to do s.db. s.storage. Query row, and the query will be select. Let's see. Select. Not star. I will do select ID, comma, channel prefix, comma, role prefix. From, let's call it servers, where ID equals question mark. I think it's question mark. How do you, variadic argument, not variadic, what do you call it? Let's see. SQL variables. What is it called? Query variables? Query variables. SQLite. Oh, this is nonsense. All right. Let's just go into the SQLite documentation. I don't write very much SQL. Documentation. Alphabetical listing of all documents. That's great. Let's do select. Okay. Simple select processing. Order join from. Termination of data. This is all a hassle. Compound statements. Don't need them. Order by. Don't need it. Limit. Don't need it. With. Deviations from standard SQL. Don't care. Strange join names. Don't care. Precedence of commas and cross join. All right. What do you call that when you have like when you just put in like a question mark and then it'll put in whatever the argument is? Could it be hiding inside of the definition of this function? Args. Can I do SQLite args? Command shell. SQL language expressions. Parameters. That's it. SQLite parameterized query. That's what I want. Parameterized queries in SQLite using question. Does that work? Is this a thing? You're mixing up parameterized query with string operations. First, it's highly insecure. Second, you've created a problem. All right. Yeah, so you can just do a question mark, I think. Yep. And then the parameter will be guild ID. And I think that should work. So I'll return a row. Row colon equals that. Row dot error. So we'll do if error colon equals row dot error. If error is not equal to nil, return models dot server and empty models dot server, comma fmt dot error f unable to get server configuration %s, comma, error. So we have that. And then otherwise, we will do row.scan, and then the destination will be, let's see, var ret models.server. Oops. So we'll just scan it directly in here and return ret. Assuming row.scan works okay. We don't need this. We do need this. Why is it mad at me? Oh. So row.scan returns an error. Error : equals if error is not equal to nil. Return models.server, comma, fmt.errorf, unable to get server configuration %s, comma, error.error. So this will return that error, and then we will scan it into ret dot. Let's see, we got it in ID, ret dot channel prefix, which needs to be exported, and role prefix also needs to be exported. Ret dot, oh, shoot, didn't mean to do that. Ret dot channel prefix, comma, ret dot role prefix. And there's no new variables, so we don't need to redeclare it. Fantastic. So we should be able to get the server configuration from the SQLite database. So that's fantastic. Let's go back into main and get it ready to use that instead of all this stuff. And we're not actually using the SQLite 3 library, but we need it still imported. So we'll do that. We'll go back into main.go. So then once we connect to it, let's see. So we're using this guild.id. Voice ready is reading into guild. Voice ready. So what's going to happen is when you connect to Discord Go, you'll get a ready signal at some point. So once we get this ready signal, what we need to do is read through the ready signal to see which servers I'm configured on. All the servers it's configured on, I will need to, all I need to do. So for all the servers it's configured on, I need to see if I can get all of the members of each server inside of it. All right, I need to get the configurations for each server, and then get all of the members for each server. And then once I have all the members for each server, I can go through and run the function. So what's going to be in that configuration is the channel prefix and the role prefix, which I will deal with later. Seeing these are the ones I need to get from the server configuration. I think I'm using them a little bit down here as well. Yeah. So I can get those from the server configuration and then run this little script for all of the servers that it's in. So let's see. So when you get the ready, so this ready channel is actually going to be used for something. So it'll be a chan discord go.ready. So then this one will send in r discord go.ready. Oh, it's a pointer, of course. So it should be a channel that sends a pointer of discord go.ready. Damn, I'm down to 2 viewers. You guys really must not like programming. I mean, you guys obviously do. Still 2 of yous here. Either that or I'm bad at it. Or I'm bad at being entertaining while doing it, which is probably fair. So I got to get this Discord go.ready. And then... let's see. Voice ready, I need to rename this to... what's this? Guild create. Guild create state. That'll work a little bit better. So this one is going to need to be handled in a little bit more interesting of a way. ReadyChan doesn't really matter too much. So then that'll send that over that channel. This will send this over this channel. Guild members. So let's separate all of the stuff that's going to be done on a global basis from all the stuff that's going to be done on a per server basis. So globally, we'll need to wait for the ready. We will need to have this channel here. On a per server basis, we will need to be getting this guild create state thing. Actually, we will handle this globally, and then it'll do stuff on a per server basis. This is all setup stuff that also has to happen globally. So we'll do this. And then on a per server basis, we'll need to get the guild members and route them to the correct location. The dg.open happens globally. So then we'll wait for the ready channel, which is a global thing. So let's see. Guild create state. So when do I use the guild members? That's not for a long time. So I'll have to figure that out later. I'm going to go take a break for a second and grab some water. I will be right back. I am back. Let's get back into it. I'm not going to say what type of water it is, but they should sponsor me and Primogen and all the other health conscious streamers out there. Ah, delicious. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So we're going to have all these state objects that we're juggling around. So once we get this, once this ReadyChan reads, we'll do ready state, comma, no, ready state, colon equals, reading from that ready chan. And then, let's see, once we've set that off, then we can do for underscore comma guild colon equals range ready state dot, oh, it's mad at me. Why is it mad at me? All these, none of this matters. For guild colon equals range dot ready state dot guilds. Oh, why is it only giving me text completions? Ready state should be a Discord go.ready. Does that not have things? Ready state dot guilds, yeah. So for underscore comma g colon equals ready state dot guilds, loop through that, g dot id. Oh, really? Is it not gonna? It's an invalid type. Oh, range. Haha. So g dot id. So we'll do db dot. I guess we need a new data store, and that'll happen before you even screw with any of this Discord Go stuff. db colon equals db dot new SQLite store, and then we'll need to import this. Add that bad boy. New SQLite store. The file path will be, let's say ./db. That'll work. Comma error colon equals that. So then if error is not equal to nil, we will log.fatal f that error, unable to start colon %s comma error dot error. So that's fantastic. So now for every guild, we will try to get the configuration for it. So we'll do db dot get server configuration on g dot id. So that works. Let's see. Server comma error colon equals that. If error is not equal to nil. Since we're doing this on every server, we'll probably just want to log.print f unable to find config for server %s comma g.id. So now that we have the server configuration, we need to do something with it. In fact, we need to do a lot of things with it. So we should probably make something to hold all the servers, and we're probably going to be looking them up by ID. So we will probably do a var servers, and that will be a map of strings, which is the ID, to models.server. In fact, it'll probably be pointer models.server, because I think models.server is going to get pretty big here in a bit. Actually, I bet it doesn't make a difference. Whatever. So then we will continue after that. That way it doesn't do the next line, which is going to be servers at that ID, g.id equals server. And of course it's mad at me because it needs to be an ampersand server. I don't know where the ampersand is. My keyboard doesn't have keys written on it, so I just have to try everything until I, there we go. So now we'll have all our servers. So then what we need to do is for every server, we need to set off the request guild members and for that server, and then we can go ahead and try to come up with all the focus rooms and create all the channels and create all the roles, and then let's see, go from there, I guess. So let's see, for underscore comma s colon equals range servers. So we'll loop through all the servers. We will request the guild members. Oops. So then guild.id will be s.id. And then what else we have? Query. We'll figure that out later. Members of query string. The unit name starts with. Nah, we're not going to do that. Max number of items to return or 0 request all numbers. Got that. Nonce to identify the guild members. Chunk response presences. Whether or not to request the presences of guild members. We need the presences. So we can request all the guild members. And then what's the next thing? dg.request guild members. So once we've requested guild members for all the servers, we will need to start listening for the guild members for all the servers. So that will be in a second. And honestly, we aren't really doing anything different in the above, so we can just do this. And instead of screw you, we'll say error requesting guild members for server %s colon %s, and then we will make this g.id comma error.error. And it's mad at me for some reason. Let's change this to log.printf. So it makes a little bit more sense. And I missed the comma here. So that's good. So for each server, we will be requesting guild members. And then go from there. I wonder. We probably want to start doing this stuff concurrently. And we may want to do the concurrency a little early. So for now, I'm just going to do go func. And then we'll do all of this stuff. Oops. Oops. There we go. So since this continues no longer in a for statement, we will just return. If you can't get the configuration, what can you do? We'll figure out the arguments to this function later. So it'll concurrently request all the guild members for every server and do all this stuff. So the next thing we need to do is probably read the guild create state and get that guild get this. So this one will be a little bit interesting because what we're going to have is we're going to have multiple go routines trying to figure out. We're going to have multiple go routines running at the same time, trying to get their proper state. So what this function is the state of a single guild. Oh, I screwed something up. So what this this data structure is going to have the So it has everything for a single guild. So we're going to want to match which thread is working on that guild with its ID. So we could probably... So we're probably going to want to read guild create state until we've gotten all the information for all of the guilds. Or at least... keep reading it until something happens, I guess. This requires a little bit of thought. So I'll probably just read all of the What we'll do is we will read on this channel until either some amount of time has passed, let's call it 10 seconds, or we've gotten all of the guilds that we're interested in. And then once that's happened, we'll You know what? I'm not sure. So what we can do is we can read this guild create state, which sends over the current status of the server. We can read that and keep reading from it until it returns all of them or 10 seconds has passed. And then once we receive a guild create state, we can set off the rest of the bot on that particular guild. And that's, all of this stuff. So once that's happened and we start setting it off, there's going to be another one that we have to read later on that contains all of the users in the guild. And we're going to have to route that somehow so that the proper thread gets the proper users. Because I don't think there's a way to... I mean, there's not... Yeah, we're going to have to route this properly some kind of way. So this is going to be interesting. I suppose we can... Not sure what to do right now. I feel like I'm not going to confidently dive into this on stream. I might have to figure this stuff out off stream. Curious. Maybe I'll come back to this with a little help from Jordy. Not that I need the help. I'll figure this out, but Jordy might be a useful person to talk to about exactly how we should handle this. Certainly an interesting problem. And the Discord API is certainly a fairly difficult one to work with, given the enormity of some of the servers and the way they have to set things up to work that way. See, I've been going for about an hour and a half. I think this is probably a decent time to quit, so I can go do the hard problems off camera, and then come back with everything solved and look really smart. So I suppose I'll catch you guys on the flip. Check out my Twitter. Check out my YouTube. Trying to put more videos up there. I'll see if I can get something up tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Over the weekend. Thanks. Also, if you want your resume reviewed or your code reviewed, tune in tomorrow. Me and Musius will be doing probably resume reviews, but possibly code reviews if we don't get enough resumes. Join the Discord. You can find the Discord linked at npmail.com. And thank you. Have a nice day.